This is Cruise Control. Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Brz Sti and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news will fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
That's right, it's time. You are on Cruise Control. Buckle up, get your 5-point harness on, and get ready for an hour of great automotive news, reviews, and more. And along with me, as always, is none other than Les Jackson. How you doing, Les Jackson?
Hey there, Fred. Just fine. And as usual, we've got a whole bunch of information to pass on.
We sure do. And we're going to start this hour with Charging United, where 7 vehicle manufacturers have come together to build a plug-in network. And these plug-in stations are going to be pretty cool, the charging stations.
Boy, am I in favor of this.
All right.
We'll get to that shortly. And over at Ford, they've got a new F150 Hybrid in the works for 2024. This really is exploding in technology.
Yeah, it's interesting. Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford, said this is going to be revealed at the Detroit Auto Show. He called it all new. Other people are saying it's kind of a mid-cycle enhancement, but we'll have to see. And then you have news from Subaru, right?
That's right. The BRZ, which is at least a good name that's the little personal sports coupe. Fun to drive. It gets an STI-inspired performance model, and because they haven't been high performance, but they've certainly been, fast enough.
Fun.
Peppy would be the best word.
Yeah, fun and sporty and fun to drive. Yeah. You and I have driven that a while back, and we'll tell you all about it. And then, which vehicles are still selling over for MSRP? You should not pay over MSRP.
Don't
some
buy
are still
them.
Doing it. Les, it's incredible, isn't it? Some are still doing it.
It's incredible, and it's kind of insulting.
Yeah.
But we'll run them through.
We also have the other side of this too. Some that are always trading for under MSRP. So
that's right. So don't get caught up in this thing. And we have an As the Tesla Turns diversion team. What do EV range complaints and a xylophone have to do with each other? Well, only Elon Musk could find a way to put the two together.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, but something.
It's what are the little hammers called that play a
mallets?
xylophone?
I don't know. Mallets? Well, I don't know.
There's a name for
it. You can research that. But we're also going to have an at-the-wheel review of a great vehicle, the Hyundai Tucson Hybrid. This thing gets 37 miles to the gallon, and it's got all-wheel drive. That's pretty good. So we'll have that cool. Coming up, and real nice job. Stay tuned to Cruise Control.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. We are just rolling and coming up with a bunch of things. And first, we want to talk about charging electric vehicles, because this is a big thing. We're going to be talking about it for a long, long time.
Yep.
In the future. There are some irritations if you don't have enough power at your house to get them. So we have what I think is the solution to this, and that is a group of manufacturers have gotten together, and they are combining to create a charging system, I guess, infrastructure system. And I think it's just a wonderful idea.
Yeah, it's BMW, General Motors, Honda, Hyundai, Kia, Mercedes-Benz, Stellantis. They're creating a new charging network. They plan on adding 30,000 chargers, and they will be
Wow.
accessible to all EV customers, offering combined charging, CCS, or the NACS connector. And these things are going to be a bit of a destination. They're going to be focused on customer comfort less.
See, go ahead. I want to
Canopies,
add to this.
Amenities such as restrooms, food service, retail operations, either nearby or within the same complex. And a select number will be equipped with additional amenities, delivering a premier experience designed to showcase the future of charging.
Yeah, I go to fast charging locations whenever I have an electric vehicle because I just don't want to bother spending the time plugging it into 120 volts. So those locations, one is a big Target store, parking lot, great, but the only thing you've got to do in the hour or so you're charging is go into the Target.
Which, has stuff you need.
Well, but once you've done that once, anyway, and the other one doesn't really have much of anything around it. And I keep thinking, wow, it's going to be wonderful someday when you can go just like a really nice interstate gas station where you've got restrooms and food and everything.
Right.
Because you'll kill the time easily.
Right.
So this is just great.
Yeah. I mean, I've charged at charging stations where there's nothing around. And thankfully, it's close to my in-laws that I literally get a ride back. I leave the vehicle there and let it charge because there's nothing. I mean, you could walk around. It's a nice piece of, but there's no bathroom. There's no place to get something. Not even close. Not even walkable. It's just nothing around. The charger works well though.
Well, that's great. But again, that's just not the way people want it.
No. I mean, wouldn't it be great if you had a hiking trail or something you could walk around for an hour and get some exercise?
Well, or mini golf course. Something.
I charged my car. I thought it was going to be less than filling up my tank of gas. Instead, I bought $500 worth of stuff at
That's
Target.
Right. Yes. The last time I was at the Target, I bought $40 worth of potato chips. So
that's that. If you don't know less, that's about a 2-day supply for.
Yeah.
But this is great, and I also think, I think you could even have like their vehicles displayed there, so you could use it to sell vehicles, even.
Absolutely. Or like the autostradas in Italy or in the other countries there, when you stop for gas, they have complete cappuccino bars there.
It's not.
And with pastry and it's just wonderful.
It's not the coffee that's been sitting in the pot for the last 10 hours.
No. This is bespoke coffee.
There's that word again.
That's right.
So, this is great news. You think about it. I mean, you and I drive a lot of EVs, and I have noticed it's pretty easy to punch in on your screen, I need to charge, and there are most say, 5 minutes out of your way, 10 minutes out of your way, and you can get charged. And they also tell you, I don't know if the information's accurate or not, but it tells you if they're working and if there's anyone in them. So
it's probably reasonably accurate. They, certainly it has been when I've followed their direction.
It's going to get easier and easier for sure. When we come back, we're going to tell you about the new Ford F-150, what we know. So stay tuned.
Cruise Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Time for a new F-150, the 14th generation. Wow. How many vehicles have 14 generations? There's a trivia question for you.
Well, certainly the Mustang.
Oh, by the way.
Oh, wait, no, it hasn't had 14 generations. It's only had about 8 or 9.
You found the answer to what are the devices used to strike a xylophone.
Yes, and you were correct. They are called mallets.
Mallets.
And there are two types. One is hard, and one has a fuzzy ball on the end.
Okay.
That's as much as I know.
That's called the fuzzy ball mallet. The other one's called the hard mallet.
Sounds good to me.
Imagine, does anyone major in xylophone? You know,
I've never personally seen anyone play a xylophone. In person.
it's good hand and eye coordination, though. You got to hit the right thing at the right time, right?
I honestly haven't seen one played since the old Ed Sullivan show.
Well, marching bands, they still play.
Well, I have this thing about marching bands.
That's a whole other thing.
It's like clowns and mimes. I don't
want to play
around.
In that.
I just don't want to be around them.
Let's talk about the new F-150, 2024 F-150. It's going to debut at the auto show, as I told you earlier in the opening to Cruise Control. Jim Farley, the CEO, called it an all-new 14th generation. He called out the new hybrid variant. By the way, the current hybrid variant is really doesn't get a lot of sway, but it gets pretty good mileage for a big full-size truck, you know?
Yeah. I think it's funny. It doesn't get a lot of demand, but gee, if I had to have a truck, I'd sure go for a hybrid.
Yeah. Well, they're going to launch a new one, which will probably get even better MPG. He described it as all new, but others have said it's a mid-cycle facelift. It's going to be revealed at the Detroit Auto Show. A new hybrid version has already been confirmed. And, I mean, that's kind of all we got on this. We don't know what it will be, but certainly it will be interesting, won't it? And
it will be, but I think it'll probably work great.
I also think we're going to see virtually every vehicle, maybe with the exception of a base economy car, almost every vehicle will be a hybrid or plug-in hybrid, every internal combustion vehicle, because there's new standards proposed, and I just think it makes sense. And as you're going to see with this Tucson that I reviewed later on, you're getting well into the 30s with an all-wheel drive capable large vehicle pretty easily, you know?
Which is, I mean, that's
and they drive better.
Terrific.
They drive better, you know? So I think you're just going to see more and more of them. And, of course, we're going to see one from Ford, a new one from the Ford company. This is not a hybrid, but there is a new Subaru BRZ TS. It was revealed at the Subi Fest in California, and it has that little lower disclaimer: new suspension tuned by STI. It is high performance, has a high performance Brembo braking system, unique exterior and interior elements, and this is actually big. A lot of people didn't know this, but their EyeSight driver assistant program, which gives you, crash mitigation and things like that, was never available on manual transmission cars, and this is the first vehicle where it will be available.
Yeah, that's right, which is terrific. I mean, it was difficult to engineer for a manual, but
yeah,
good for them.
Good for them, because I don't know what the take rate is on the manuals, even for the BRZ, probably higher than most cars, but to go through that and put that in there so you can keep the manual and still get the updated safety is great. This is kind of a throwback, this car is. I like it a lot. It's got knobs and buttons and
Yeah.
manual available, and it's just a fun car, isn't it?
It is a fun car. It's something that you could, if you're young, starting out on a job, you could buy that, and it's an everyday driver.
Yeah. Rear
Totally
drive.
reliable,
Rear
comfortable,
drive, which is the only
and
rear
yet
drive
you can go.
car in the lineup
Yeah.
for Subaru, right?
And you'll have a lot of fun on the weekends if you want to go out on mountain roads, whatever.
Yeah. Not huge horsepower, but not terrible either. 228.
That's fine.
Yeah. Just a good vehicle. Rear drive. Of course, it's sold as the Toyota 86, which
The 86, bad name.
just doesn't translate to 86.
Well, the only thing it translates is throw it away. 86 is
86 it. Yeah.
yeah.
That's your assignment for the next break, Les. Where did the term 86 it come from?
Oh, well, I will look that up. That's probably an interesting one.
You know that show that I haven't watched in a while, Where Did the Slang? It's a great show. I think it's on the History Channel.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
Yeah, where the guy talks, he does like a segment on where did the slang come from. And I don't know where 86 came. It's probably like a form. I bet it's for a form to get rid of something. You know, like, oh, right,
I
fill that
believe
form
it
out.
came from the publishing industry, but I'll
Check it out. Okay. So are you ready for As the Tesla Turns?
Oh, listen, I am always ready
Okay.
to show my sympathy.
This is a Reuters article, and they had a team called, Tesla had a team called the Diversion Team, and they were specialized in stopping range-related customer complaints. This is according to the Reuters article. Model 3 owner Alexandra Paulsen, he went on a road trip from Colorado to California in his new pre-owned Tesla, 353 miles of range. He was confident he'd get that range, and all of a sudden the range started going down rapidly. He called up the team. He called up Tesla and said, I'd like to come in and have my battery looked at. And this diversion team said, oh, we used their remote software, and it looks fine. And what is Reuters found people on this team, they were tasked with getting these complaints squashed and cancel. They're like, we'll cancel your repair appointment. Every time they did that, they saved the company $1,000. And whenever they did that, all the people in this room, they would mute their phones, stand on their desk, cheer, and tap out a tune on a xylophone.
Oh, boy.
God, doesn't that sound like a terrible job?
It does sound like a terrible job, and also it sounds somewhat deranged.
It's like a boiler room sales thing where people you sell somebody something and everyone does a cheer, and so basically they say, according to this investigation in Reuters, they say that Tesla started exaggerating the range by fiddling with range estimating software. After the battery got down to about 50% of charge, it would display a more realistic figure to prevent motorists from being stranded on the side of the road. So what this guy was seeing is he got down to 50%. All of a sudden it starts really dropping, and he's like, well, there must be something wrong with my battery. Called Tesla and was referred to the diversion team. And the xylophone, when it was canceled, the xylophone played a tune. So there's your xylophone.
Well, there's your Elon Musk.
Yeah.
It's again, this is the thumbtacks and glue car company. I'm sorry, but I am just an absolute cynic about Tesla. It's a poorly made vehicle. Musk is just borderline charlatan.
We'll
in ways.
continue on with this after the break.
Yeah. But anyway,
Stay tuned.
It's a fascinating story.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. So we were finishing up on the
Xylophone.
Xylophone. Whatever possessed them, by the way, this sales team, with the hyping everything, whatever possessed them to use a xylophone?
I don't know.
Yeah, why did they use a drum?
I can't answer that.
Because one of them plays a xylophone.
They
I
had
guess.
one.
But,
They had one.
oh, you know what? He probably had one of those little toy ones.
Maybe. I don't know. Other than they played a xylophone when someone said, "Okay, well, if you say my car is all set, then I'm not going to bring it in."
Well, there will be more stories.
It gives
Trust
you
me.
an icky feeling, doesn't it?
There's something very smarmy about that.
Well, you found out. We were talking about BRZ. It's the Subaru BRZ, and then Toyota
Right.
has the 86.
The 86
means get rid of it in our slang, but I didn't know where 86 came from.
Nor I, and I fancy myself as knowing the history of a lot of phrases.
Okay.
This turns out to be a Prohibition era phrase. It took place in New York City. There was a famous speakeasy bar called Chumley's.
Okay.
And the police, of course, were all paid off by the.
They probably drank there when.
By the most of them drank there. When there was going to be a raid, they would call Chumley's and tell the bartender to 86 his customers, meaning that they should exit out the 86 Bedford Street door. While the police would come in to the Pamela Court entrance on the opposite side of the building. I love it.
That's great. 86
I love
it.
it.
Oh,
86.
that's great. Hey, buddy, 86 it.
Yep. Quick. 86.
That is great.
Yeah, it's just, man.
I love it. That is definitely.
I do too.
Let's talk about this. iSeeCars.com always has some good things for us, and they had a list of vehicles that are still going over for more than MSRP. Now, we went through this. We went through the supply chain. We went through all of that, and there are still vehicles that are selling over MSRP. I think you should not pay over MSRP anymore.
No, you should not.
And you don't have to. You just go on the site, you configure your car, and you find 10 dealers, and they post it right there, market adjustment, and then there's one right next to it that does not have a market adjustment, right?
Exactly. And we'll actually mention a few that are selling under MSRP. But first, the culprits. And my feeling is, unless you really, really want one of these, don't buy one.
Yep.
Especially a Jeep Wrangler Unlimited, because it's 31%
too much
over MSRP, which is already high.
Mm-hmm.
But that's scary.
Yep. Mini hardtop, 2-door and 4-door. 25% over your vehicle. That's over your price. No thanks.
And minis are very high priced anyway.
Yeah.
Genesis GV70, 25%. I don't know why Genesis is doing that, but
well, they're not doing it. The dealers are.
The dealers are.
Yeah. Cadillac CT4V, 23.7% over MSRP
just
on average.
No. Porsche Taycan, 22%. Now, I'll give that a little bit because it's probably an availability thing.
But what about the next one, Toyota Corolla Hybrid?
I don't get it. I don't get it.
21%. That is Mercedes GLB, 21%. Mercedes E-Class Wagon, 21%. Porsche Macan, 20.9%. Lexus RX 350h, 19.7% over on average.
Now these are all vehicles that cost $50,000-$60,000.
Yeah.
And you're paying another $12,000-$15,000?
Why are you paying more for a Toyota Corolla Cross?
I don't get. I don't.
Oh.
Just get on the internet and hit every dealer in the country and ask for a firm bid on one, and then go get it.
And your local dealer, if you didn't buy it from them, has to service it. They have to, for warranty.
Exactly. That's federal law.
Mm-hmm.
It's franchise. All of them have signed the franchise agreements.
Yeah. So
don't let them tell you otherwise.
This is from iccars.com. You have the other side of it, though, the ones that typically sell for below MSRP, and how much they sell for below it. Not a lot,
right.
But still,
it's
that's
not
good.
a lot. It should be like 10%, but it's not. It's Chrysler Pacifica, hybrid, which is a terrific vehicle. It's been around for every bit of 10 years.
Yep.
1.9%. Okay.
Fine.
That pays the tax.
Yeah.
Infiniti, which is a terrific brand, QX80, 1.3.
Mm-hmm. And F150 Hybrid, we were talking about that earlier, about 0.8% less. Hyundai Ioniq 5, 0.5%.
Yeah.
We've talked about this. There's a lot of electric cars sitting on the
there sure
lot.
Another pickup, Chevy Silverado, which does not sell as well as Ford.
No.
But it's only 0.4% less.
Yeah. Ioniq 6, 0.1%. Ioniq 6, pretty popular vehicle.
Yeah. Here's another electric, the Volvo C40 Recharge. Great electric.
Mm-hmm.
0.1%.
Less
so I get
than
that's
MSRP.
So basically, that means you get free floor mats.
That's right. CX9, 0.2%.
Yeah.
EV6,
Nice.
1.1%. And Nissan Armada. Boy, you can't have two completely different vehicles. The Kia EV6 and the Nissan Armada at 1.2% less than MSRP. Yeah, just do your shopping. Don't spend over that. It's just not.
Yeah, just don't. Wait. Actually, if you don't need something new right away, if you want one of these other ones that are paying over, just wait 6 months, and they're all going to be dropping down to at least MSRP.
It's interesting. We have friends that are looking at buying a Tucson hybrid. I just happened to have one be testing it, so I took them for a ride. And he asked me a good question. He said, is it like the old days? Like I told him in 2024 they're going to do a slight freshening, very minor stuff like USB-C connectors as opposed to USB-A connectors, maybe freshen up the dash. It's a mid-cycle enhancement. And he said, well, will it be like at the end of the year where, they have clearance, or in October where they have clearance? And I said, I don't know. I don't know if they do that anymore. They haven't for a long time,
Well, they haven't, but if they've got leftover stock, that's now one model year old, and it has depreciated. So you should be able to strike a deal equal to that depreciation, because they get extra holdback from the manufacturer for having that on the lot. So they're actually being paid by the manufacturer to hold on to it.
Yeah. He said the dealer experience was terrible. The guy didn't know what the difference between a hybrid and a plug-in hybrid was.
I would.
So my friend knew, and he said, "Can you explain it to me?" And I explained it in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But he really couldn't explain the difference between the two. Sad. Hey, in New York, Volvo's EX30 was revealed. They have this is their inexpensive electric vehicle starting at $34,950 before incentives. And it got a reveal. It was officially revealed in Milan, Italy last month, but it is it was revealed in New York City this past week to the North American crowd. It packs a punch, 422 on the horsepower, 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. Yeah, those electric cars, they're slow and have no power.
We're talking, that's Lamborghini.
And it starts at $34,950. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. Long wheelbase, large wheels, equal front and rear overhang. I'm sure it's a rocket ship with a light, and it has 275 miles of range, which is not bad.
That's very impressive.
That's the twin motor variant with 422. It's got motors on the front and the rear axle. But there you have it. Hey, when we come back, we are going to go all kind of at the wheel with the Hyundai Tucson Limited Hybrid. So stay tuned to Cruise Control. I'm Brz Sti. He is Les Jackson. We will be right back.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control, one of our most popular segments behind Les's What Does 86 Mean? is our At the Wheel reviews. And this one I really enjoyed. This was the 2023 Hyundai Tucson Hybrid Limited all-wheel drive. They have your cake and eat it too crossover, I would say. Good-looking vehicle, got a real angular look on the outside, kind of pronounced styling cues on the side. Modern-looking, fresh. It's like Kia Sportage. That's the same vehicle with a little bit different styling. And it was a pleasure to drive. I took this on the highway. I absolutely got or exceeded the 36 miles to the gallon on the highway. I think I was more closer to 38, 39 without, trying excessively to hypermile or anything. The hybrid system really punches up the driving experience. You're off the rut line pretty quickly. It has a 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder hybrid E engine. The changeover from electric to gas was smooth. And if you want even more, you can get a plug-in hybrid version, which I believe gets about 33 miles of electric range before it becomes just like this hybrid model. On the inside, Hyundai continues on with their kind of formal interior, a lot of black, piano black, a lot of silver, matte silver treatment. They have haptic controls on the center display there. Some people love them, some people don't love them. I found that they worked really well for haptic displays. Got your phone charger in there, which is nice. You get everything here. You get the variable views of the vehicle, makes it great for parking. You can vary them. You can select cameras, display lines, do a whole lot of everything in that. Heated and cool front seats, heated steering wheel, all controlled by the buttons right there on the dash for you. Out back, decent rear legroom, great rear visibility, good headroom. And you do get a few amenities in the back. You get air conditioning vents. You get a couple of lit USB A connections. They're going to be swapped over to USB-C next year. And also, outboard passengers get two-position heated seats, which is a really nice feature. Our seats folded easily and were relatively flat. And I also like the interior lighting and around the bins, the blue LED. I thought it was nice, and it calls out the hybrid nature of the vehicle. Love the wraparound dash, how it integrates into the doors. And as I say, more of a traditional look on the inside than the Kia variant, more of a luxury look. Out back, a ton of room. You have some remote seat releases, which are always nice if you're putting something big in there. Les, I know you always go for that 180 volt, 12 volt outlet. So there it is.
That's right.
Yep, there it is. And there's the seat releases, which are really nice and handy. And you would push those seats down a little bit more. No spare tire, although it looked like you could get one. The well was there. Always check that out because you never know. Under the hood is the 1.6 liter turbo paired up to the electric motor. Hyundai's done a great job with this. Nice and smooth. The power comes on nice and smoothly. The transmission was smooth. Just a great driving experience. As I say, hybrids and plug-in hybrids, I think, drive better than the gas relatives. I like the styling outside, kind of a cool light treatment on the front of the vehicle with the daylight running lights really lighting up that kind of segmented look. And out back there is a light bar and good rear taillights. I think the more light you have on the back of your vehicle, the better it is. People can see it.
That's right.
Overall score, 4 stars in the safety ratings. Frontal crash, 4-star. Passenger, 5-star. Side is 5-star across the board. Rollover, 4-star. So this is a safe vehicle. I like that it had locking all-wheel drive, so you don't have to wait for everything to slip. You can push a button and lock them up and get going. Ours was the limited. Limited basically means you get more safety features. You get leather seats and things like heated steering wheel. But we added a few things. The Serenity White Pearl was a $400 upcharge. And yes, carpeted floor mats at $219. So with destination, the total was $40,855. If you want to get the plug-in hybrid version of this, expect to spend about $4,000 or $5,000 more, and that will get you that all-electric 33-mile range. And you know, it's interesting. My friends were going back and forth. Do they need the plug-in version? They live on sort of a hill with parking out front, and they would have to run an extension cord down their property. So I said, you may not need it. The hybrid is very efficient. It is rated 37 city, 36 highway, combined 37, about 2.7 gallons of gas per 100 miles. And less, I could beat those numbers without trying.
That's excellent, especially for something that size.
And it's all-wheel drive, and you have, as you could see, you have plenty of storage room in the back. Hats off to Hyundai and Kia, because they always load these things up with all the goodies, and it's all available. You have a drive mode selector. I left it in normal, or I think they call it comfort or economy, and still got that great mileage. It's kind of a taste thing. If you want this or the Sportage, this has the black interior, more formal. Kia is a little bit more playful. It has a standard shifter as opposed to the button shifter. And they also have a kind of a more off-roady version if you want to go for that. So kind of, I would recommend checking them both out. And it's kind of what you like style-wise. No word if this Tucson is going to get the square boxy treatment that the Santa Fe is getting. As I say, this is up for 2024 refresh. I think it's simple things like interior tweaks, maybe making the screens a little bit bigger, swapping in USB-C ports for USB-A ports, things like that. So it's a refresh. I don't think we're going to see anything huge, but I love the storage. It was a ton of storage back there. Easy to get to, low lift over. So it's a reason why this vehicle sells really well. The mileage, I mean, I definitely would get the hybrid at least. I would look into if you could get a spare put in there. You might be able to at the dealer. You can probably buy them on Amazon, I bet. I bet you can buy them on there.
Yep. Go to Amazon or eBay and get yourself one.
They used to almost give those away at the salvage yards.
Yeah, they did.
You know, and it's like, look, this has never been used. I'll pump it up with air. I'll throw the jack in, and I have it as a backup. Turn signals, by the way, are down low in the bottom of the bumper. They're yellow.
Huh.
So that's kind of fun. But I like the angular look. I like the extra lighting outside. The headlights are actually the lower lights in the valance. The others are just daylight running lights. But the more light you can put on the outside of a vehicle, I like. So I could see owning one of these with the great economy, the great safety equipment. You know, and let's see what they do in 2024. I don't know what the plan is, but it's not a bad price for a very good vehicle that has the great Hyundai warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain, 10-year, 100,000-mile system components, and on and on and on. Hybrid battery warranty, also 10-year, 100,000 miles. So good deal. That is the 2023 Hyundai Tucson Hybrid Limited All-Wheel Drive. Hey, it's time for me to say I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We are going to see you down the road.
Bye.